Yeah, 21. I was back in my hometown over the 4th and had a couple people bring it up
Oh,
because
really?
I was wearing a Bussin' with the Boys podcast shirt,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and one of my buddy's brothers brought it up, and then I was like, yeah, and then he's like, you like podcasts? I'm like, yeah, I love them, and his brother's like, oh yeah, he has his own podcast. He's like, what? He's like,
Oh,
how
that's
come I never heard
cool.
of this? So I told him all about it, and he's like, I'm gonna look you up. So we'll see if he actually looks us up.
Yeah,
But
that's cool. Yeah.
the other thing too, we were talking about it, and I haven't done much research on this, but we should probably. I mean, we're gonna keep running this for a while, so we probably should look into like trying to figure out how to get it on YouTube or Spotify or something like that too.
We can,
Just
dude,
because I think more people, we might get more people in listening
sure.
to it.
Dude, I'm totally down with we did that before. Obviously, we pre-recorded, which was different.
Yeah.
So we can do YouTube, Spotify. Yeah, you're right. We'll probably get, I mean, honestly, bro, we haven't even, and I know we're live on here. I don't really care. We haven't promoted it at all. Like,
Not
and,
much anymore. We did at the start a lot,
but I mean, so that's what I mean. Like, we're keeping, and we're on the views, we're good. So it's kind of like, once we start doing that stuff again, man, it'll be a different ball game. So
yeah.
I'm happy with the fact that we've literally just gotten on here, for like the last 6-7 weeks, just like, all right, we're just going to talk sports. So I think that's, at least we have like
Yeah.
a baseline.
Right. Well, I get texts from people. Are you on tonight? I'm like, yeah. Or no, we're not. But
Sure.
yeah.
But yeah, we'd
All
be
right.
able to start promoting it and
Yeah.
like you said, do the YouTube and all that. So works for
Sounds
me.
good. All right. Let's get rolling here.
Let's get it popping, big doggy.
So this is Beyond the Scoreboard podcast, episode number 21 already. We obviously just going to be Stenda and I tonight, no guest. Before we get rolling into our topics, we always got to shout out our sponsors. Stenda's representing the AdCraft shirt there, Beyond the Scoreboard. I am representing the Fatleet Beyond the Scoreboard little jerseys here. As always, if you need any merch, let us know. We can hook you up, get you what you need, go from there. And always make sure you're checking out AdCraft, Fatleet, any coaches out there, they both can hook you up with stuff. So get to them and get them some business. Other thing, I'm going to try to promote Comanche football real quick here. So we are running our third annual trivia night, July 20th, coming up here in 13 days. We already have like 14 confirmed teams, trying to get 15 at least teams. It's always a fun night. So if anybody's listening and not doing anything on July 20th and want to join a trivia night to support Comanche football, either DM me, leave a comment. I can give you a registration link on how to hook up with that. Also selling raffle tickets for that night. Anybody can buy those. You don't have to be at the trivia night, $20 a ticket. You get a chance to win $100, $200, or $500. There's 300 tickets sold. So obviously you have a 1 in 300 chance to win. If you only buy one, if you buy more, obviously it goes up, but we draw those out that night too for the winners. So if anybody looking to support out there, didn't think it'd hurt to ask on the pod here. You never know who's listening. So
I'll buy some raffle from. Well, I'd like to do.
Okay.
I know you. I got your text, but I got to see if that.
Yeah, you just ghosted me, man.
Dude, no. Would you act like I knew I was going to have to face you again here soon? So
yeah, what were you going to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, I want to take one. No, you're good. Get on one of the teams or whatever, but
All
I don't
right.
think it work. I think I can, but I'll at least buy some because I know I donated last year for the raffle.
You did, yeah. I think you bought a 1 or 2.
Yeah, so I'll at least
3 or 4 this year, maybe. I don't know.
I'll have to step. Hey, after all the money we're making from the pod, man. I mean,
yeah,
throw a couple extra zeros on there.
Yeah, just let me know what you want to purchase there, Stenda.
Yep, I got you, big dog.
I'll get you in the pot. If you win the money, you got to donate it back though, right?
Okay. I mean, wow. I might be a nice
No,
guy. I ain't that nice, dude.
no, you don't have to do that. It's all good. But all right, let's get into our first topic here.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about the hiring of JJ Redick to the Los Angeles Lakers. Um, so most people probably know who JJ Redick is. He obviously was a uh, really good college player at Duke. Went on to have a long NBA career with multiple teams. Pretty successful NBA player. Did a nice job. He got hired as the coach with no coaching experience. I mean, literally no coaching experience, um, not just the no NBA experience, but he had no college experience, no high school experience. I think in one of his podcasts or interviews or whatever, he said he coached like his son's fourth and fifth grade basketball team. So that's really the only experience he has. So I guess my question to you, Stinda, and there's some coaches out there, former NBA players that have uh, went on and coached with no coaching experience have done well, but the ones that a lot of them don't. I mean, you have like the Jason Kidd, the Steve Kerrs. You can even throw Larry Bird in there. He did a
Sure.
decent job when he's coaching the Pacers. Um, I think Doc Rivers is another one that went straight into coaching. He's had some success, over the years. But what are your thoughts on him getting the job with no background of coaching whatsoever at that high of a level?
So I'll kind of like throw a question like back towards you because
Okay.
I think it's hard. So, like you said, at that level, tell me this: you're not getting the head coaching job in this era generation at Comanche with no coaching experience, correct?
Probably not.
I mean, I'm
I mean,
sorry, like
yeah.
use there's no way if you applied right now, you came out of teaching, you got your teaching degree, and you've never coached before, they're going to be like, yeah, sure, we're going to, you have, you'd have to get some experience somewhere, don't you think?
I agree. I mean, unless I was the only one that applied for the job, but but yeah, I mean, it was that was just even when his name got brought up, I was kind of just like, what? But yeah, I would have to have some experience, maybe not head coaching experience, but before I took over for Comanche, I had 8 years of high school experience as an
Sure.
assistant, and I coached some junior high football too. So, um, I mean, yeah, I knew how it worked, but this guy literally has none. And Jonathan Antonio here, he brought up a good point, and this is something I was going to say too. He says it's definitely controlled by LeBron.
He's right.
I mean, it's him and Reddick have a podcast together. They started a podcast together, where they're analyzing the game and different plays, and Reddick's very intelligent. He knows the game. I think when listening to him, as far as analyst, he knows what he's talking about. He's younger, so I think he probably will be able to relate with the players and that kind of thing. And having been through the game, like he may be able to understand maybe what the players' bodies are going through and how to maybe run a practice. But um, I don't know. And obviously, the Lakers are heavily probably influenced by LeBron. Um, that's evident with them drafting his son as well. So it's just I don't know. It's just sometimes these guys pan out like the Steve Kerrs and the Jason
Sure.
Kidds of the world, but um, I mean, I hope he does well. I don't mind JJ Redick. I think, like I said, from a knowledge standpoint, he's pretty solid, but just an interesting hire to say the least. Um, I mean, they even went to the lengths to interview Hurley from UConn, and I
Yeah.
would say he's probably obviously has more coaching background than Reddick, and probably would be a better one to go at there. But he obviously turned it down. But yeah, just kind of a head scratcher. Just very, very different there.
Yeah. I agree with you. Well, just JJ Johnson says, fortunately, the NBA is, or unfortunately, it's more about putting on a show than championships, not even worth
Yeah.
watching. Which I think, like, here's the thing, and I hate to get into like this, we've talked about before, like when I would say, oh, the NFL's rigged. I'm not saying it's rigged, okay? I'll be honest here with you, but it just goes to show you, like, you're talking about the highest level and a guy with no coaching background besides he coached his fourth and fifth grade son's basketball team. Regardless, yes, I get he played collegiate basketball and he was in the NBA, but come on, look at the NFL. How hard is it for an NFL guy to be a Hall of Famer and become a head coach? It's tough. They've started off as
Yeah.
like an intern, assistant. It's just, I think it comes down to, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then
Yeah.
how much is the media going to put them out there as, let's make this like this is the most boneheaded decision ever. They didn't. You haven't really heard a whole lot about the JJ Redick deal. You have, but it's like now it's kind of like, okay, he got hired. Whereas before, does the media want to make this look like this guy's a bum? He's going to be terrible. We hired the wrong guy, or this is not the right guy. It's like, oh, JJ Redick, he's in love with LeBron. For Christ's sake, like he said, he was doing a podcast with him beforehand.
Yeah.
And then the fact that your son, LeBron James, gets his son drafted, who averaged like 3 points a game in college. I mean, to me, it just goes back to like, it's not, well, it's who you know. It's part of life. But I'm with you. Like, come on, you can't tell me that there aren't other more qualified applicants or people for that position. And yet everyone's like, okay, well, JJ Redick gets it. It's like, okay. So, there's a big stir about, and I don't want to, I shouldn't maybe bring this up, but when we talk, there's been, a lot of stuff about, there being fair for everybody, there not being enough people, I'll just say there's a lot of white coaches, but you didn't hear anybody say anything about this with the NBA, but in the NFL you do. And it's like, okay, I mean, if I'm looking at it from the outside, I'm kind of like, hold on here. Like, why does this guy get it? Like, we could debunk a lot of reasons why he shouldn't be the head coach. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It'll be interesting. And the whole, the whole LeBron controlled thing, that's a great point because like you look at his career and everywhere he's been, says he has no control, but he's had a lot of say in who's coached him over the years and has had some say on who isn't going to be his coach. Like really the only steady coach he had was Spoelstra and when he was with Miami.
Sure.
And that dude can coach. He's proven that. But you look at Cleveland, he went through probably 3 or 4 different head coaches, maybe even more. It's gone through several now with LA, so yeah, it is.
There's
unfortunate there.
Yeah, there's influence. And again, I guess it's just like, the comparison is when, again, you say it's entertainment. They're at the highest level. There's obviously politics involved. And the bottom line is, and again, I think if anybody, follows sports, you have to be like, that's honestly, it's kind of like watching, the presidential debate. Everyone's like, why do we have these two? This is all we can get to run for president.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just corrupt. It's politics, and you have to deal with it and be like you said, a head scratcher. How was JJ Redick the head coach? Like you said, he probably, maybe he'll pan out, but you don't even have the minimum qualifications to be probably a coach at the college level head coach, let alone the head coach of the Lakers.
Well, and you brought up a good point with like an NFL coach. All of those coaches are they've either coached the college ranks and, every once in a while you get a head college coach that goes and is a head NFL coach, right?
Sure.
But a lot of those NFL coaches have worked their way through organizations as assistant coaches, position coaches, and then they get their crack at a head job. But there's not very many of them that are just going, I don't know. Any NFL player that retired after 3 years and then all of a sudden is the head coach. You know what I mean? That's not how that works. So
no, because look at Pierce from Oakland. He
Yeah.
he's been removed for at least probably what, 10 years? Close
Yeah,
to
I
maybe.
mean, close to it. And then you got Mayo at New England.
Sure.
He's probably, I mean, he was pretty recent player too, but yeah, a lot of them. They were also assistant coaches. You know what I mean? They weren't just thrown in the mix right away. So
No. No.
very interesting. All right, you got any other
No. These
points on
these
that?
jobs are so hard, man, because there's so many different dynamics to it. I think that's the hard part because my head spins because I'm like, well, like, and I even hate bringing up when I said, like the NFL, they said, there's a lot of white NFL head coaches. There's a lot of white head coaches. Like to me, it's like this Reddick thing was just like, all right, nobody even, you know what I mean? Where it's like, well, hold on here. Like, like if I'm a
Oh,
player or an assistant coach, I'm going like, hold on here. And they don't. So it's like, I think again, it's like what the media wants to, how they want to portray that person, you know, at that
yeah,
time. And I think for JJ Redick, it was kind of one of those things like he's, probably enough money with the LA Lakers. They could probably have that to where he's not pushed out there in the media like he would for maybe not a team that's, known like the Lakers. And I don't know. I just think if that's anybody else, people are going raising hell about a guy like that becoming the head coach with little to no experience.
yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I agree. Um, Another comment here. Jonathan Antonio. You must know him, but
Yep.
he brings up another good point. He's like LeBron and Bronny playing together will probably bring in the most ticket sales in history, which is why the NBA is allowing it, possibly. But he's got to make the team first. You know what I mean? Like, do you think he's gonna? I would think he's gonna have to go. Bronny's gonna have to go G League for a year or two. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Lakers aren't like their roster is not terrible. I mean, they got dudes that can play. So even if Bronny is on the NBA roster, like I don't know how you can. I don't know. I don't know how you can give him minutes because he probably won't deserve them, especially
No.
early. So, but again, the point of about putting on a show and entertaining people more than actually winning is thrown in there too. It's about money too, So it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the money thing, I mean, again, politics and again, playing to the owners and the commissioner. And I
Yeah,
mean, that's what it is. Like I said, I mean, it's just such a different generation now. And I get it. But at the same time, it's like, I could see why somebody like JJ, who probably liked watching basketball, grew up in our era. And now he's like, why would I want to watch it? It's just for show. Like they don't really want to win. Like this want to talk about like, well, my accolades. Well, that's great that you've been to the finals 10 times, but you lost 6 times.
yeah.
Like, you
Well,
know,
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Like we've talked about it on here. Like I don't watch much NBA, not near as much as I used to. Back when obviously the Bulls were doing their thing, but like I'll watch the NBA playoffs, here and there. But regular season, I don't. I probably watch maybe 10 regular season NBA games.
sure.
I mean, that's it's crazy, um, but yeah. All right, we can move on.
Yeah.
Next topic we're gonna discuss here. So we'll be off next week, and then not this coming Tuesday, but next Tuesday is the MLB All Star Game. So just talking All Star games in general with like the three main sports. So Major League Baseball, NBA, and the NFL. Um, the question I had on here, Stenda, was do you think that the All Star games have like outlived the word I put was usefulness? Like, I don't know if that's the
Sure.
right term, but do you think they're just not meaningful anymore? Or what are your thoughts on how the All Star games work, and do you even watch them, or what do you think there?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think MLB is like the last one that, I mean, out of all basketball, football, baseball, there's still, I feel like there's meaning towards it. With the home run derby, I think the guys still go out there like the pitchers, because what do they usually pitch, like an inning or two at
Yeah.
most?
Yeah.
Those guys are going out and they're still, they're throwing their good stuff. I think they've always done a good job with that. You remember the days with Ken Griffey Jr., McGuire, and the home run
Mhm.
derby.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
you have Greg Maddux, those guys. I mean, I think if they keep it that way, it's like, yeah, because at the end of the day, just like basketball and football, I know it's about, again, we go back to protecting a business entertainment. But don't you want to see the greatest players playing together at one? It's nice to be able to see it one time a year. Yeah, maybe it's not going to be for 9 innings or 4 quarters or,
Right.
whatever. But, you get to watch them for a half of a quarter or, 2 innings. Like you watch the best athletes in that sport at the time, voted by their peers. Yeah, I think you'd agree with this. Football and basketball is a joke. I mean, I won't even
Yes.
spend. I ain't watching it. There's no. I get why they're doing what they're doing, but I mean, it's just kind of like, all right, man, like this, just get rid of it, because do like a skills challenge and be done with it. Because yeah,
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm with you. Like the NBA All-Star game this past year, the winning team had over 200 points. Like they're like is just it's hard to watch. Like I wish they would bring back so I can't remember what years they did it. I think they did it a couple years in the NBA All-Star game. They did that Elam ending. Did you ever hear that or know
yeah,
that? They were like so um at a certain point in the fourth quarter, they set so depending on the score of the game, they set a score like I don't know all the details of the Elam ending, but so if it's 142 to 135, they'll turn the clock off, like the time, and then they'll say the first one to 154 wins. You know what I mean? So like then now they're amping up. Now they're amping up the defense, right? Because
sure,
whoever gets to 154 first wins the game, kind of thing. So that team that's down has a chance to get back in it. And they did that, and they would start like defending a little bit, but they'd only do it for 2 minutes, until they got back. But just adding things like that, though, I think would help people actually watch it a little more.
sure.
Shoot, even if they did that in a regular NBA game, that'd be cool. Because I remember, I'm pretty sure it was during like COVID time, they had that. They called it like the basketball tournament or the tournament or whatever. Do you ever watch that, or do you? This is
Was
where
that
like
during
old,
COVID,
yeah.
like the
This was
bubble or whatever?
no, it was different. So this
Oh,
wasn't NBA. This was
oh,
it was some guys playing in this had played in the NBA. Most guys are like college guys, but they're playing in this tournament, and the winning team got like $1 million.
oh,
And
okay,
this is where I first heard of like the Elam ending, what I was just talking about, and that's how all those tournament games were, and it was
okay.
freaking awesome. Like that last to get to those points, they were just balls out, man. I don't know, be something cool to follow, just something different to get more people watching. But and then yeah, the Pro Bowl is bad. Like it's flag football now, and they do all these silly skills challenges to get points, and I don't know.
I'd love like the NFL. Just do like the old school. Remember, like when remember like you had like the quarterback throw the who could throw the longest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, do like, I mean, I know they probably still do that, but like just do that and do like the 40-yard dash, do the bench press, 225.
yeah,
Do that stuff and because it's just like you said, it's not even, why do I want to watch, if I want to watch flag football, I'll go to the Erickson Center and watch, second and third graders or the
yeah,
old men who still think they can play football in their
yeah.
60s play flag football. I don't want to watch that by the guys getting paid $30 million a year to catch a football, but it comes time to, the best athletes to come together. It's like, we don't want to get hurt. You don't want anybody to get hurt, but
Right.
like
You get
there's
hurt doing
risk.
anything though. You can get hurt
Yeah,
doing anything. Like doesn't matter. Like,
sure.
uh, but yeah, as far as those All Star games, I'm with you. I think the MLB is the best one, and it's the one that I only one that I mean I don't even really watch the Pro Bowl anymore much, you know. So the MLB, like you said, the pitchers are still up there throwing their stuff. Not they're not up there like lobbing pitches to give up home runs. You know, they're
Sure.
still bringing it, and the hitters obviously are still trying to do their thing too. Um, I did like when they used to in the MLB when they used to the winning team, the AL won, then they would get home field advantage in the World
Sure.
Series.
That's cool.
Um, well, it sucked for NL teams because I think the AL won it like 7 years in a row or something when they did that. Um, but yeah, I just don't think they need to do that anymore with MLB because they still try and they still get after it. And I love watching the home run derby. I still watch that every year. So
Yep.
um, I'll keep rolling with the MLB as far as All-Star games go.
Yeah, that's always just been I mean, watching it on TV. I mean, back in the day, like Chris Berman and
Oh yeah,
all those
back
guys.
on. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that was, I mean, and again, think about, that era that kind of saved him, McGuire and
yeah,
Sosa and obviously Bonds. I mean, and I don't watch it obviously that much anymore, but I think it's still got that feel. I mean, like you said, they've kind of stayed where they need to be. But you just hope they don't get away from like what they've been doing for so long, like the NFL and NBA, because I just don't. I think it's kind of like that turning revolving door. Every so often, what do you have to do? You have to rebuild. Kind of
yeah.
like the '94, remember baseball, the lockout, and
Lockout, yeah,
all that stuff comes around. It comes around in ways where it's like, oh, they're going to need more fans. They're going to need a bunch of revenue. What do you got to do? I mean, so it's
yeah,
just a matter of time.
yeah, 100%. Are you going to tune into the MLB All-Star game then?
Mhm.
Yeah, I will too.
I haven't watched for a couple years, but I did a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, dude, this reminds me when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Racing to get on there in July, and I'm like, dude, this is still cool. Like it was sweet just seeing the home, like I said, home run derby, guys hitting
even yeah,
bombs.
yeah. Even like just I always like seeing getting everyone introduced. You're like all your favorite players are there, and all that. So
Yep.
sounds like your Pittsburgh boy Skeens might be starting for the NL.
He's a
He's
stud.
lights out. Yeah, he's good, man.
He
He hasn't
just
lost
throws
yet.
smoke.
He hasn't lost a game yet.
No, he's got like 59, and I think it's a third innings pitched or something, and then he's like the other night he gave up I think 2 runs, 2 earned. He had like 8 strikeouts. His stuff is just,
Yeah, nasty.
and he's throwing 100 miles an hour like the whole game.
Yeah, with ease. He doesn't even
Yeah,
look like he's trying.
no.
He's bringing it.
I want to go see him. I was just talking to my dad the other day. I'm going to go out there at the end of the summer. We're going to go
Nice.
watch. Hopefully, get to catch him playing. Yeah, that's a stadium you have to go.
Yeah,
PNC Park's probably one of the best.
I know. I've said on here about the trip. My dad picks one every year. That's one I keep kind of putting in his ear. They go into PNC. It looks cool.
You got to do it, man. It's worth it. It's worth it.
How's is Pittsburgh a good time? Like the
Oh
city?
yeah.
I've never even been there.
What's honestly, it's just a little bit bigger than Des Moines.
Okay.
Maybe
Really?
like 350,000 people.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, there's a lot to do there. I mean, there's a lot of different parts of that town and city you can go to. And you're gonna know you're there when they say, going downtown. Everything's, downtown and
Downtown.
Ian's going downtown, oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're from there or not.
Well, definitely not from there, but
No.
all right. Next thing we got rolling here. Another thing coming up toward the end of this month is the Olympics, Summer Olympics in Paris. July 26th, I believe, is the opening ceremonies. Kind of going off of what we talked about here with the All-Star games, but me personally, I love the Summer Olympics. Obviously, it's happening every 4 years, but when it's on, I'm usually tuning in to not only this is when I'll actually watch basketball, and I know it's all NBA guys, but there's some really good other countries are really good at basketball too. So there's competitive games and it's fun to watch. And I'm even watching the badminton and the swimming, track and field, beach volleyball, all that fun stuff that you don't normally watch. I'll even watch water polo.
Sure.
It's just I'm always tuning in, and it's just fun. Yeah, track and field is awesome where it's at. So comment there. So and it's just what I love about it is you just see. First of all, you get a lot of good stories about how athletes got to where they did as far as getting to the Olympics, and these people obviously are elite athletes, and um, just to see them competing for their countries and going all out and trying to get on that podium, win the gold and all that. It's just awesome.
Sure.
You Olympic guy or no,
You-
Stenda?
not much. I mean, back, I used to watch even when there was a few teams, LeBron was on for whatever is that yeah, USA, whatever dream team.
Oh yeah.
Like
Le, well, has LeBron ever been on a dream team? Is that what you said?
not dream, whatever he was
Like,
on
yeah.
it was years
The
ago,
redeem team, wasn't it?
whatever it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think like once in a while, like, seeing it, I think what you were kind of getting at, like, it's just really cool to see like all of those different sports that you forget are out there. Like,
yeah,
again, like, and then like how much they train, how much it takes to be the best and the, elite. I mean, I think a lot of people forget, like, you would think like badminton and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, it's badminton. We play that in PE class. Like, no, these are like the best players
yeah,
in the world. Like, so I think, it's good for, like, I think the youth to see all those things and see like how much time and effort and sacrifice, and like you were saying, like what they put their bodies through at that level. And then you're competing against everybody in the world and how different countries train and stuff. So
mhm,
that's what I like about it. I don't follow it like, I mean, you probably follow it, much more than I do. I just don't, like when I felt like when I was younger and I was in high school and college, I followed all that stuff. Then when I,
yeah,
got old enough, then I'm just like, I watch football all the time. But it is cool to see like what's out there, because I think people forget, and they think it'd be easy to do some of these sports these athletes are competing at, but wouldn't have a chance.
yeah. I personally like, and my kid Knox right now loves, all that stuff. Like we were watching the track and field, um, like trials to see who's getting to the Olympics like a couple weeks ago, and just the way those people move, man, like how fast they are, and just insane. Um, it's just wild to watch, but it's fun. I'll get on and I'll follow like the medal tracker of like which country has the most medals and all that.
Sure.
Obviously you're hoping it's USA, right? Um, but yeah, I'll definitely be tuning into the Olympics, and then once that's rolling, we might be able to talk a little bit about it as we go through on the podcast, because that goes on for a couple of weeks there. And I'm
Dude,
sure, huh?
not to cut you off, but since you're a football guy, didn't USA get beat by Japan?
I did see that,
It was like
yeah,
41-20.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is weird, but
You should have
but
seen some of the
the
comments they
the
had on Facebook.
yeah, but the NFL guys aren't playing in that though, right?
No, I don't think so.
So
I was just trying to
that's
figure out like, well, who's playing, like, but then I'm like, damn, like you should have seen some of the memes or whatever they had. I was like, oh man.
I didn't see any of
Oh
those. But,
no. I'm like,
well,
damn.
like flag football's coming the next Olympics, right?
Yeah,
2028,
yeah, yep.
and they're gonna have NFL dudes in it,
Oh, I
right?
would I would assume,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
Oh yeah.
they're yeah. Nobody will compete with us in that. The USA
Yeah. Well,
with the
you would hope.
NFL dudes, I wouldn't think so, but never know. Never know.
It's yeah. 41. It was 41-20.
Wow.
41-20. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't. I heard they lost, but I didn't see the score. Interesting. All right. You want to get into rapid fire here, Stenda? We're flying along here.
Yeah, let's go. I'll
All
hit you
right.
up.
All right. You want to go? You're gonna ask me first.
Yeah, you want me to get or do you
Yeah.
want to
Go
go
ahead.
how do you want to do it?
Sure. You shout out the names to me, and
All right, baby.
I'll
You
answer.
ready for this?
Sure am.
I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5.
Okay.
Okay. Dusty Baker or Lou Pinella?
Ooh. You okay? Can I ask a question, or like just as Cubs managers, or overall?
We're doing rapid fire. What you talking about?
Okay. Baker,
Okay. Lovey Smith or Matt Nagy?
Lovey.
Richie Sexton or Sean Casey?
Oh my gosh, Sean Casey.
Andy Pettit or David Wells?
Pettit.
John Lieber or Ryan Dempster?
Ooh. I'll go with Dempster.
Okay. Dusty. So you took old Dusty.
I did. So I know I asked the. I'm sorry I can't ask questions during rapid fire, but I went just solely on the Cubs when they were Cubs managers in my mind.
Oh, I got you. My bad. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because well, I think if you like their careers overall, I'd probably because I think Piniella might have won a World Series when he was with the Reds manager.
He did, but so did Dusty won with the Stros.
Dusty won, and I think he won one when he was the. Did he win one with the Angels or did the Giants? I think the Giants beat them.
No, Giant. So he just won the World Series with the Stros in 22.
Okay.
Yep.
But I think and Piniella had those teams when he was the Mariners that were pretty good, but I don't think they ever won.
Nope.
But as far as like just Cubs, I went Baker because Dusty kind of was part of that. He was the manager in 2003 when they had the whole Bartman issue and they maybe should have probably won that series and got to the World Series, but they didn't. And he had some other teams he took to the playoffs. So that's why I picked Dusty.
I would have taken Dusty. He had over 300 more wins than Pinella, better winning
really?
percentage. Yep.
Okay.
And it's Dusty Baker. You got a toothpick in your mouth.
Yeah.
And
I always liked him.
Dude, he's a gangster, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, I like Dusty too. Piniella was pretty fiery though. Like he took no nonsense, man.
He was kind of like he's big, definitely big hothead. Where Dusty was just kind of like laid back, but like if you pissed him off, you pissed him off. Like Piniella just always reminded me like he was just too much of a hothead. I felt like
throwing bases and stuff.
Oh yeah. Tanner Weber said toothpick and sweatbands as a manager, you can't beat it. Yeah, you can't.
That's true.
They don't make it like that no more.
They don't.
All right, so you took. I'm glad. This was like a bogey when I threw in the Lovey Smith and Matt Nagy.
Yeah, you got to go Lovey. And you know what, Lovey, like when he was with the Bears, like he had success as a head coach. And then when he was the head coach at the University of Illinois, not so much success, but he's a really good defensive coordinator and defensive mind. Like he was a big part of the Bears when they were creating all those turnovers. Because he emphasized that. He's big cover 2 guy, but coached it really well. Nagy had one good year as a head coach with the Bears, and the rest of his years were just bad. So now I guess he's the OC for the Chiefs, but we all know Andy Reid calls the plays. So what is he really doing? So
Glorified.
Yeah, love you all the way on that. Love you all the way.
Cool. So do you know much on the stats of Richie Sexton and Sean Casey?
I don't, but I went Sean Casey because I love. I don't know. I'm left-handed, so like
Sure,
anytime somebody has like a sweet lefty swing, like I tend to watch those guys more and gravitate toward him. And Sean Casey was pretty smooth at the plate. I would say his glove was probably a little better than Richie Sexton too.
for sure.
Um, Sexton probably had a little more pop than Casey as far as home runs and things
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But I would say average, definitely Casey over Richie.
100%.
Um,
You're 40 points
uh,
higher.
yeah, and I'd say RBIs are probably pretty similar, but I don't know. I really liked watching. I like the way Sean Casey played too. Like he
Sure,
always played hard and like he'd try to beat stuff out and try to maybe stretch a long single into a double type thing
sure.
that most first basemen weren't doing.
And he was a big
Um,
guy. Like he was a
yeah, he
pretty big
was.
guy and still moved well.
And Richie Sexton had like light tower power though. He could bomb a ball. I remember he's a big dude too. But Sean
But
Casey,
remember how many what what I always remember about him was you remember he struck out like one year 178 times in the season.
Richie Sexton,
He had one of
I
he
believe that.
had seven, I think 7 or 8 of his years in the MLB, he struck out over 100 times. And these were not
Jesus
at 100. He had like 175, 120. I mean, he was kind of like that guy, like, he either hits a bomb or he's striking out.
strikes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like
Casey,
Adam Dunn. He's a Reds White
yes,
Sox
dude.
player.
I should
Yeah,
have put him in there.
he's the
Damn
same
it.
way. He's the same way.
Oh, God.
Bomber strikeout.
That was it. That's all that dude could. He barely batted like 200, but he'd hit like
Yeah,
40 home runs.
yeah, and have like 200 strikeouts.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I like your pick there. I like Sean Casey over Richie. All right.
Yeah.
This one though, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I just you got
Okay.
to tell me why Andy Pettit over David Wells. And I have only got one reason why I'm taking David Wells over him.
Well, yeah. When I was thinking about this one, I think like, and of course I don't know any of these stats, so because I don't know who you're asking me for, but I feel like Andy Pettit would have more wins than David Wells.
Correct.
And I think Andy Pettit. When I think of him, I think of him as like a quality postseason pitcher,
Sure.
and I don't think of David Wells that way.
No.
He was good, but I think of
Sure.
Andy Pettit as just like I guess more of a winning pitcher than David Wells. And then obviously, yeah, David Wells threw the perfect game when he was hungover or whatever. But is that why you're gonna pick him?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. And I know they're both lefties, but Andy Pettit.
I'll read you the stat line. So
Okay.
you're spot on. Andy Pettit, 256 and 153, 385 ERA, 3-time All-Star, 5-time World Series champ, 2,400 Ks. Then you go to Wells, 239 to 157, 4.13, 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ, 2,200 Ks. But man, I read that today, and I read there was this article about it like from a year ago, and he was out till 5:30 in the morning, drunk, and he drunker than piss, and then has to go to that game at whatever time and throws a perfect game. I'm like, dude,
That's
I just,
wild.
I mean, legendary. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, when you said his name, I thought of that exact thing.
sure.
But yeah,
You picked the right guy though. Andy Pettit, dude, you're spot on. I'm kind of using that for like comical reasons. Like, yeah, he pitched a perfect game, hungover, drunker and shit, probably.
which is
But
wild.
Andy Pettit, like you said in the World Series, dude, he was tough. He was tough.
Yeah.
He was tough to face being a lefty and the way he threw and his pickoff move to first base. He was tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I always liked watching him pitch.
All right. And I had to throw the old John Lieber and Dempster because they were both Cubbies.
Yeah, that was a good one. That I was struggling on this one because again, as far as I'm going to say Dempster has more wins than Lieber, like career wise, right? Or no?
Dempster has one more win.
Okay, yeah. See, I was right. But Dempster, I liked him because he started out as a reliever.
Yep.
And wasn't very good. And then for some reason they're like, oh, let's make this guy a starter. And he had some really good years as a starter. And I always I liked his little like glove thing that he did when he pitched. Like, I don't know.
Turned it. He turned it.
He would like turn it and
Yeah.
then bring it. Yeah, and he's just he was like a good teammate, funny guy. Yeah, Dempster over Lieber.
You're right. He was 132 and 133. Lieber was 131 and 124.
That's
Lieber
crazy.
slightly better ERA. Lieber won All-Star, Dempster too. But where is John Lieber from? Do you know this?
I don't know.
Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know that till today. I was like,
not
oh,
know
shit.
that. Interesting.
Because he used to be so when I was a young kid, when the PNC Park was Three River Stadium, where the Steelers and Pirates played, John Lieber, that's who he pitched for the Pirates.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
Yep, he was with the Pirates back in the 90s. So that's actually funny. It's funny we're saying this. I got John Lieber's autograph with my dad, and guess who threw the ball to us? And you probably won't remember this guy's name for the Pirates, but his name was Al Martin.
Don't know him.
And he played, was he center field? Threw it up to my dad. My dad caught it, and then we went down to like the third base side, and John Lieber was signing autographs, gave it to him. I said, John, sign it. And he goes, yeah, boom, and signed the ball.
That's awesome.
And Al Martin gave it to us. So
that's awesome.
But then he was a Cubby, so
yeah. I liked Lieber though. Lieber was good.
Not a bad player. Those were both like just solid pitchers for the Cubs.
Yes, they were. All right. Tanner Weber said my dad got mistaken for Dempster at the Cubs convention. Everyone wanted his autograph.
His dad does look just like him.
Brad does look a little like Dempster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to, next time I see Brad, I'll have to mention that to him. I run
get his auto, man.
Yeah, I'll say, hey, Dempster, can I have your autograph? With that. See what he says. Thanks for that, Tanner. I appreciate it.
T. Wibbs. All
right. You ready for yours here, Stenda?
Yeah, let's roll.
I didn't have as many stats as you have for these, so I'm looking some of them up as we go here.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, but here we go. First one. Marquise Pouncey or Alan Faneca?
Oh, you got a center and guard.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, I'm going Alan Faneca all day. Okay. Are you shitting me? Yeah, Alan Faneca.
All right. Randy Johnson or Pedro Martinez?
I got to go Pedro. I don't care. I'm going Pedro.
All right. Ichiro or Vladimir Guerrero Sr.?
Dude, why are you doing this to me? I'm going Ichiro.
Ichiro?
Yep.
All right. Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase?
I'm going Jamar Chase.
Okay. And the 2005 Steelers or the 2008 Steelers?
Oh, 2008, that defense. I don't think they let it. Yeah. Yep, 2008, baby.
All right.
Yep. Wow, dude, you really put it on me tonight, man.
Yeah. Those are good ones.
Those are.
I figured you'd go Faneca, just
Oh,
because you have a Alan Faneca Pro Bowl jersey. So
yeah, stud. He was a stud dude. He was Faneca Hall of Famer. I mean, starting at guard. I mean, he was. It's funny you're bringing him up because Ray Lewis. I had watched one of his videos recently. He was talking about the all the games they played against Pitt, and he would talk about how Faneca was so good at the combo block and getting to the second level and taking the linebackers out, which included, Ray Lewis. And he said he was so good at the combo block, but dude, he was Pounce. He was a great center, but Alan Faneca, man, like he's probably he's top 3 linemen for Pitt all time.
Really?
Yes, hands down.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I respect that. Next one. I was shocked by this one. Randy Johnson, Pedro. You took Pedro?
Do you want to know why I take Pedro?
Yeah.
When he threw Don Zimmerman on the ground.
This is why.
And you want to hold on. Let me give you why. Because anybody that remembers this moment, Don Zimmerman asked for that.
Oh yeah, he ran out at him.
He asked for it, and you know what? It was like, okay, dude. And then everybody was like saying, "Oh, you threw an old white guy to the ground, some old guy." Don't listen, man. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, old man. What do you think Pedro was going to do? So that's not exactly. I think Pedro. I'm sure Randy Johnson probably had more wins. Probably had.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Pedro had 219 wins, and
Randy was like well over 300.
303.
Yeah.
That's a ton of wins for a pitcher, though. A lot of wins.
The perfect game at like age 40.
Yeah.
Against the Braves. Remember, he had that perfect game against the Braves.
Randy Johnson, as Tanner Weber said, he literally hit a bird in midair.
Yeah. I'm taking. I like Pedro.
And the strikeout difference.
Sure.
Randy Johnson had 4,875 Ks, and Pedro had 3,154.
I bet Johnson he probably had several more years on Pedro.
Yeah, I don't know that off the top of my head, but I don't know if it was that much more. But yeah, that's still 1,000 more strikeouts.
It is. No, he was definitely obviously Randy Johnson was a power pitcher his entire career. Pedro, I think as he got older, or when I say this, like, he matured, he became a more power pitcher. His breaking ball was elite. His changeup was his fastball. If you remember that All-Star game where he struck out like 5 out of the first 6.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you go pound for pound, Pedro was probably 6'1", 165, 70 pounds. And he could throw could throw 97, 98. Randy Johnson was 6'10". What do you think? Probably 240, 250.
Yeah, probably.
But again, I mean, at the end of the day, both of it in their prime, I don't know. I mean,
that's a tough one.
In their prime, that'd be hard to decipher when's their prime was, because Johnson did it for so long. Pedro had a really big stretch where he was just elite.
Here, I'll look up how long here quick. Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson, 22 years.
When was Pedro? Probably 16, 17?
Pedro, 18.
So, I mean,
4 more years.
4 years, and we'll do 4 years and say 200 strikeouts. Regardless, Randy Johnson striking out more people.
He was just power.
Entire career, sure.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, though. I don't know why Pedro, watching a little guy be able to bring the heat in his curveball and changeup were just elite. I don't know. Johnson's slider was nasty. He for sure had that in his fastball.
Yeah, Pedro, his junk was nasty too, though. Like, they both are fun to watch, man, in their prime. Sure. That's for sure.
Yep.
All right. So the next one, Ichiro. Ichiro and Vlad Guerrero Sr.
I would say Ichiro hit better for average. Clearly,
No,
he
you're
didn't.
wrong. Yeah, I was
No
shocked when I looked
way.
this up. So Ichiro was these numbers are nuts. He was a 311 career hitter. Vlad was 318
Oh
career.
my goodness.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Vlad had a
I would
better
I
arm than
would
Ichiro.
oh, I don't know.
You don't think so? I thought he
Ichiro
reminded
had
me
a
of Roberto Clemente.
cannon too.
What's that?
They both had cannons. That was the thing I was hoping you'd bring up, honestly, was their arms because it was wild how
Well,
strong
yeah,
both their arms were.
both from right field. I mean, I
Yep.
remember a couple different times where Vlad throwing the ball from right field on a dime dot to third. Same with Ichiro. I mean, again,
Yeah.
if you look at like power, look at their
Oh,
size. Like Ichiro was such a little guy. Vlad wasn't big, but he was taller and he heavier. Um, which does that really matter? I mean, Ichiro
no, but
wasn't probably all but 180 pounds, maybe 190 pounds.
Ichiro,
Yeah.
I would say like 160.
Oh, was he okay? Yeah. So even
He was
smaller.
tiny,
Yeah.
but dude could hit, man. He was such a good hitter.
Yeah.
How many home runs do you think Vlad Guerrero Sr. has in
He
his
had
career?
over 400.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had over
Or
400.
449.
Yeah. I was going to say he had to been, he definitely had over 400 home runs. Yeah.
And Ichiro had over 3,000 hits.
Yes.
So
He hit,
Vlad
yeah.
was like just over 2,500 hits. But the other
Wow.
crazy stat, so strikeouts. So Ichiro averaged only 56 strikeouts a season, and Vlad averaged 61 strikeouts a season. And there's one
Dang.
season where Ichiro only struck out like 24 times.
And that's crazy because Vlad, he took some big cuts, but
Oh yeah.
man, see,
Ichiro took a lot of like defensive swings.
sure.
But Vladdy, yeah, he took a lot of big cuts for sure.
Wow. Yeah, that was
But
good. That's a good one. That's a tough. I think you're
it was
definitely,
crazy. It was crazy how close their stats were though.
yeah.
Like I did not think that Vladdy had a better average than Ichiro
Yeah, that
either.
honestly, bro, that takes me by surprise because, like you said, Ichiro, hit for average, but at the same time, Vlad was if I remember right, Vlad he was a good two strike hitter. Like
Yeah.
you didn't see him strike out. You didn't see him
No.
strike out very often. He take the big swings early, and then okay, yeah, put the ball in play. He just was so good at
And
hitting Oppo.
yeah, he was really good at that.
He could hit Oppo. That's what he was so good at. I mean, so was Ichiro, but
Yeah. And the other thing that both those dudes were fast too.
mm-hmm.
Like Ichiro could fly down the base paths, and Vladdy, especially early in his career, he was fast too. But
So, do you want to know Vlad Guerrero's story when he played for the Angels?
sure,
Me and Ryan Jordan in college, we go to the Angels and the Indians. So, the Indians opening season game, their stadium gets snowed. Gets
hey, hold
snowed
on,
in.
hold on. That's watch how you're dropping Indians there.
Okay, who are they now?
I'm joking. They're the
Oh,
Guardians now. But anyway, go ahead. Go
oh,
ahead.
okay, my bad.
But,
The Cleveland Guardians.
yeah, yeah.
So they moved their home opener to Milwaukee. So it's going to be the Angels playing the Guardians in Milwaukee. We can get tickets for like $10 and we get it third base side. So me and RJ go, and maybe Lakin went, maybe just me and RJ. Travis Hafner, remember lefty
Yeah,
for the
I do.
Guardians? I think he
The,
was first
the
base.
Indians, yeah, yeah. I remember him. Yeah.
It's a dot to right field, a base hit, but it's right there to flag Guerrero. Well, Hafner's like, he's slow. He just kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm jogging around it off. Vlad Guerrero throws a dime from right field to first base and throws him
Behind
out at
him.
first.
Nice. Yeah, dude had a cannon, man.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that's awesome.
He's like rounded it. I'm like, RJ, I'm like, I think Vlad's going to throw it. And like Hafner first is just like, oh, yeah. And Vlad, like, you could see he just picks up. He's like, this dude just like lollygagging, and he just throws a dart, and it was like, and they're like, oh my God. We're like, no shit, man. Like he just threw him out like it was nothing.
The other cool thing about both those guys too is they both have sons in the majors right now.
Yeah, Vlad's got
is Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yes,
And then Ichiro's son plays for the Cubs.
that's right.
Seiya Suzuki. So
Love it.
yeah.
Love it.
Next one. We went current here. We went Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. You went Jamar Chase, right?
I did.
I don't have their stats in front of me, but
I don't like Justin. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big Justin Jefferson fan.
You don't like the gritty or what?
I don't know. Route runner, definitely top 5 route runner in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree.
Jamar Chase, though, I've got to see him the last couple of years against Pitt. Like he's pretty hard to stop.
Yeah.
Like you're not guarding him one-on-one.
No, I don't know. They're both really good.
And he's got cool Joe, man. You got Joe Burrow there.
That's what I was gonna say. Jamar's got a little better quarterback, especially now since who knows who the Vikings quarterback's going to be. But
sure.
Crazy thing is Joe Burrow was their quarterback, both their quarterbacks in college.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right, Chase. Let's see. Did they come in at the same time?
Well, Jefferson's probably been at least over 4 or 5 years. And then
Jamar Chase has played in 45 games.
Okay.
So that's 3 years.
Yeah, I'd say Jefferson's been in longer. Obviously.
Jamar Chase has 3,717 yards for 29 TDs and 268 catches. Justin Jefferson, 60 games. So he's 15 more games. So one more year. 392 receptions, 5,899 yards, and 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, so same on touchdowns.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah,
they're pretty equal.
Yards. Huh? Pretty equal, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Good one. All right. Last one, 05 Steelers, 08 Steelers. You went 08 because of their defense.
I think that year they only allowed 1 rushing attempt in the regular season over 7 yards.
That's insane.
I'm pretty sure that year would have been Hampton, Aaron Smith. Wait, Hampton, Kiesel. You're talking, linebackers. Joey Porter, James Harrison. I think, 08, Larry Foote's probably still on there. I should have he's probably on there. Larry Foote.
Polamalu in the back.
Polamalu. You got Ryan Clark. Yeah. Those guys are dogs, man. I'm taking them all day.
Well, in the 2008 year, that was when they beat the Cardinals, right? In the Super Bowl.
Sure.
That's like a top 5 Super Bowl game.
Sure, I agree.
That game was awesome. Santonio Holmes catch in the end of the end zone there. That also wasn't that Harrison's 100-yard interception return.
Right before the end of the half.
Yeah. I remember that like it was yesterday. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Tough game. Well, they had a tough game. And like I said, that last drive of the game, what happened, I think they started off like deep, like maybe, they were almost backed up in their end zone with like 243 maybe.
Yeah.
Literally Ben, Santonio Holmes, Heath Miller, they kind of controlled that drive. He hit Santonio several times, got Heath. He escaped. I'm with you. Top 5. That's definitely a top 5, especially that throw and catch at the end.
Yeah.
How many guys could make that throw and make that catch?
Yeah, that was wild. In that situation, even too,
sure.
Like the biggest game of their lives.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I figured you'd go 08 on that too. But
You had some. I'm telling you what, man. That's probably your bet. That's your. You've had some good ones. You do have good ones. It's just always like, man, like you don't want to like take something away from somebody, but it's like those are hard. Like that Ichiro
yeah.
Vlad one. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd feel bad if they were both sitting here. I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Geez, if they were both sitting there, we would have done it from your house, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. We'd be we'd be
Awesome.
we'd
I
be
love
filthy rich.
Ichiro was probably one of my top 5 players. I loved watching him. I
He
think
was,
I'm going to show Knox some Ichiro videos tonight now.
you're gonna have to.
Yeah. Because he likes his son. He's one of his favorite
Oh, does
players on
he?
the Cubs. Yeah, Seiya.
Sure.
Different players too. It's weird, but and so is Vlad Jr. Vlad Jr. is a big first baseman, but
Yeah, but I've seen a little bit with him. Is he with the
yeah,
Padres?
he is the Blue Jays.
Oh, I'm thinking of Tatis.
You're thinking of Tatis,
That's who
yeah,
I'm thinking of. See, that's where I need to get. Okay.
yeah. He can play too. Yeah, a comment up there. Sam Parker said Paul Konerko or Frank Thomas.
If he's still on there, he already knows I'm taking Konerko. I have to.
Yeah,
I can't say no.
I don't know. That's hard to take him over Frank Thomas, but
No, I agree.
we're gonna
Well,
get
yeah,
in.
you got to.
We're gonna get into tier talk here.
That's right.
And before we get into that, also Chris Purdue said, back listening again. Been gone a while. Good to hear you.
Back
Glad
here,
you're
Chris
back,
Purdue's
Chris.
my
Appreciate
man.
it, man.
That's right.
All right. So tier talk we have tonight is we went best first baseman in our era is the way I went. So
Yep,
there
I'm
might
with
be
you on
some
that.
first basemen we don't mention that are maybe better than these guys, but we never saw them play, so we're not in our list. Would you like to go first, Stenda, or you want me to?
You going first?
All right. So I have an honorable mention, as always. And you may be surprised by this one because you might think that he'd be higher on my list, but I put Mark McGwire as an honorable mention.
I like it.
Obviously, he had a lot of home runs. He's got over 500 home runs in his career. He's not in my top 3 just because he wasn't like he only batted like 263 as a career batting average. He struck out a lot. He's like a true power hitter, but in that 98 season, him and Sammy Sosa kind of changed the game, for the better with all those home runs they were hitting and everyone following the home run record and all that. It's fun to watch whether or not he was juiced or not, which he was, but it was still entertaining and it was fun to follow. So I put him there as honorable mention.
Sure.
My number 3 is Miguel Cabrera.
Ooh, McGilly, huh?
Yeah, he's another
Okay.
dude that he might be one of the most underrated baseball players that I've ever in my era, I think. He
He
played
was a
for a really
stud.
long time. He was a stud and he was never really a guy that people really talked about. And I don't
No,
know why. Because then when you look at his stats, he was a career 306 batter, which is very good. He had over 3,000 hits. He had over 500 home runs. He had over 1,800 RBIs. He was 12-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, 4-time batting title. I think he won World Series ring.
yep.
Just a dude that I don't know. He just always was kind of he was really good under the radar, rarely struck out much. He was pretty decent glove early in his career. Toward
Sure.
the later, he got not as good defensively. It was more DH type, but and he just loved the game. Like he was always messing around with guys at first base and helping the younger guys out. So he's my number 3. My number 2, Frank the Big Hurt Thomas. I'll put him
Oh,
at 2.
way back.
Yeah. I had the video game Big Hurt Baseball on my Sega
Yeah.
Genesis back in the day. But again, another dude, probably from 93 to 97-ish. he was probably the best hitter in the league, I would say.
Sure.
Not only for average, but also he had a pop in his bat and had some power. One stat that I thought was interesting, he had a career on base percentage of 419, which is pretty good for a type
Yeah.
of player like that. Two-time MVP, won some batting titles, over 1,700 RBIs, over 500 homers. He's my number 2. My number 1, and I hate doing this,
I know who it is.
Albert Pujols.
My
He's my number 1. Just as a Cubs fan, I watched a lot of Albert Pujols just bash the Cubs pitchers.
Yep.
But it's hard not to put him on number 1. He has over 700 homers, over 3,000 hits. He has over 2,000 RBIs, 296 batting average, 3-time MVP. I think he has 2 rings. I know he has 1 for sure. I can't remember if he got 2 or not.
I think he got 2. I think he got 2. Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
And another guy that was just, you couldn't get him out. It seemed like he'd always, like, he didn't really strike out much. He always put the ball in play. Had a really long, successful career. And toward the end of his career, wasn't great, but he was still somewhat productive. But pained me to put him number 1 as a Cubs guy. He was obviously Cardinals most of his career, and dude could play though. He was really good. That's my list.
100. Yeah. I would say excellent.
Okay. Is it the same as yours?
Because we got the same goddamn list.
I figured that would happen.
Dude, we just got a different order.
All right.
But
what's
hey,
your order then?
I want to point this out again. 21 weeks later, which it's been more than that because of our weeks taken off. We literally, every single time we do these, we don't talk about these except one time.
Yep.
And we always come up with literally, if it's not been identical, like one or two of the spots are switched.
That's weird.
Like, and I think that just goes to show, like, great minds think alike, dude.
That's true. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
The only one I'm gonna give you is here. Here's one for honorable mention. I threw one in because I thought about you. I'm like, this is one I think you have to have one because if not, you're leaving too many people out. Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah, I considered him.
449 home runs, 2,300 hits, a 297 average career. He had that shoulder injury that honestly, if it wasn't for that, I think he, like, his accolades are, I think he probably hits 600 home runs. I'll give him that with the injuries. He's a 4-time All-Star. You know, here's an interesting one though with him. He's a 7th ballot. He made the Hall of Fame in 2017. 7 tries. Yeah. Whatever. 7th ballot. So he's my honorable mention. Now, my number 3, I did Frank Thomas. Okay. I just flipped you Frank and Cabrera. Here's why. Frank Thomas, 2,400 hits, 301 average, 521 home runs, 2-time MVP, 5-time All-Star. He's a Hall of Famer, 2014 first ballot. And it's kind of hard. So I want to ask you this, like, if you look at Frank Thomas and Bagwell, they are the same era.
Yeah.
And how, if you look at numbers, like, yeah, I get it. 80 more home runs. Frank Thomas has got 140, 50 more hits. Batting average is slightly better. 1 more All-Star. Like, but the Hall of Fame voting, and I guess that just decides on, who's coming in when they were eligible and all that. I get it. But when I looked at that, I was like, man, because their stats are really similar. And then, Jeff Bagwell, he was injured quite often from that shoulder. And he still had a lot of numbers. So, I don't know. Oh, Frankie, I had him at 3. Love him. Great front. When have you ever seen a front foot hitter?
Yeah. That's true.
Front foot. But, yeah, number 2 had Miguel. You're spot on there. I mean, dude, 12-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, 507 home runs, a 308 average, and 3 almost 3,100 hits. How does anybody not put him in?
Don't you agree he's like kind of underrated? Like nobody
100.
talks about him.
No, yeah, I agree. Yes, he should be. How is he not a top 3? Not because we're saying that he is. How can anybody not look at his stats and the longevity that he played at that position? Because you made a point, and you made a really good point on this. Like Frank Thomas, he said, later on, like, positional wise, like he's a DH, whatever. That's for all those first basemen. Like they
Yeah,
at the
true.
beginning of their career, they're like they can do both, and then they kind of slowly phase out. Like, sure. Outside of that, like, I mean, Pujols played third base. He even played, I think, a little bit of left field, didn't he?
Yeah, early I think he did. Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, Miguel and Frank Thomas, it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, you're primarily there, you're there for hitting. They can
Mhm.
still play first base. But yeah, Cabrera, if you look at stat wise, yeah, man, he could very well be number 2 all day long.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. He had more all-stars than Pujols did.
Yeah.
So, and then number 1, I mean, like you said, you can't really give up. You can't not say Albert Pujols is number 1.
Right.
And I hate Cub fans and Cardinal fans. So, hey,
Jeez.
I don't hate him. I dislike him. That was bad choice of wording there, but yeah, he
Nobody
was a
likes the
stud.
Sox though either.
What's that?
Nobody likes the White Sox either though.
God, what? South side, north side, man. I don't know. I should have
Yeah.
put Mirko number 1
Jeez.
just to piss you
I would
off.
have I would have ended the podcast if you did that.
Hey, he had 400.
I would
I think he had 440 home runs, didn't he?
I think he was over 400, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I know damn well he was over 400. I watched him hit his 400s.
Yeah.
But
He
this
can't be
is,
on that list though.
well, I know. I know that. Okay. All
All
right,
right.
cool.
All right. Just checking. I guess my word for you on that list would be I would normally maybe say copycat, but I'll say fantastic. Good list.
I feel really good about that.
Great
Coming from
minds
you,
think
anyways.
alike, man.
I feel like we have to. I don't even know because we do this every week, and it's like I try to alternate where when you say you want to go first, I'm like, no, you go first because I'm like, we're probably going to pick the same people. So
Yeah.
what's it really matter?
So whoever goes first looks better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, all right, people. Well, I didn't ask him. He didn't ask me. And that's
No,
just
we
what you do.
really don't. If anybody's wondering, I mean, it'd be nice if we had a different list. We'd have more to talk about.
Sure.
Then we
Sure.
could be like, well, why'd you put him there? Why'd you do that? But when you don't,
Well, I mean, it's kind of, what do? You can't really take it away from, if you're picking positions, we could start doing stuff like, oh yeah, who's the worst second baseman of all time or the worst. And there's a lot of different avenues you can take, but which we could do a little bit of that, like just to spice it up, like for fun. But I would think more people probably want to hear, like, who do you really think is the best? Because saying
yeah,
somebody's terrible, like, that's pretty easy to do.
I think we got to keep it as like a best list or
Sure.
favorite or whatever.
Yep.
But
I
yeah,
like it, man.
yeah, good stuff. All right, that's all we had on the agenda. I want to thank everyone for listening live, and then obviously get more listeners as the week goes on. Thanks for the comments, for filling that up for us and interacting with us as we go through. Again, before we sign off, thanking our sponsors, AdCraft and Fatleet. Make sure you hit them up for any needs that you need as far as uniforms or even t-shirts or anything like that, jerseys, stuff like that. Get at those people. We will be off next week. I will be coming home from the Cubs Cardinals game. So I will not be on live next Sunday. We'll come at you the weekend after that.
Leaving me again, dude.
Yeah, my bad. Well, you left me last week, so
Dude, that was I think that's the first time.
I know.
The first time.
Hey, I'm a busy man over here.
I know you. Hey, I'm giving you shit, bro. It's all good.
All right. All right. Peace out. See you in 2 weeks.
Adios.